nothing short of a gong show. There's been so many things going on. I'm watching my parents' place, and literally the first fucking day I was here, literally everything started happening. I borrowed my stepdad's truck because he's not here, so I'm using his truck. Got in a tiny fender bender, like literally just like bent the license plate, but it like cracked their bumper. Car in front of them slammed on the brakes. They tried to swerve to miss them. I tried to slam on my brakes. It just caused a big kerfuffle, and yeah, we ended up like kissing bumpers. Anyways, that was night one. After the kitchen sink got clogged, backed the fuck up, the trap backed up, all the gross shit in there backed up. I had to clean that out, plunger it, and there's like two of them that come into this one trap, and it was just a bunch of work. I had to snake it, grab two plungers, get them both. It was a huge mess everywhere. They have a Lazy Susan in their kitchen. Screws started falling on the Lazy Susan, fell apart, and their bathroom toilet wouldn't fucking flush properly. And it was fine prior to that, and I didn't do anything. So I don't know if it's just I'll wait until that fucking moment to happen. But either way, all that shit happened at once, and I had like a panic attack, nervous breakdown thing. Like, they've been increasing more, so I'm going to be watching these. But it was like to the point where I was like, it looked like I was having a seizure like this. And like the girl's like, should I call an ambulance? And I'm like, no, I'm just freaking out. So like when I got in the accident, the girl was like, should I call an ambulance? Like, you look very like unstable. And I'm like, no, we're cool. We're good. We're just something I'm going through right now. So with that being said, there's been a lot of shit going on. There's been a lot in my life, and I feel very, very on edge. I feel like my adrenals are very, very maxed out. I feel like I'm very, for lack of a better term, just stressed out, on the edge, and I really need to like take some time to just kind of be. I haven't really done that in years, and even when I do take time, my mind's still going on like business and other things. So I've kind of had a huge detour shift the last little while, and it's kind of changed a bunch of things in my life. So I've kind of realized that I need to take a break, that I need to do this. So this week, I've kind of given myself grace, but not really, because there's still been so much shit going on, but I've been trying to give myself grace. And the more I try and give myself that grace and it doesn't happen, the more I get caught up in like the stress of it. And like, I feel like I can't even do that right. So there's a lot of things I've been trying to do. Most recently, I've been trying to find my faith. I've been trying to kind of get back to that. I have in the past. I'm not like the most religious person. I do have like a cross tattooed on my wrist right there, but it's more like I enjoy the message behind it, being a better person, helping your community, kind of the positive message behind it, and how the world is a scary fucking place. The world has horrible things going on, and I'm very in tune with like what the government's doing, what politics is kind of like. I'm not a huge politics person, but I do understand what they're trying to do to us, what is going on in the world. I'm very aware of it, and there's a lot of scary things, so it does help to believe in something bigger than yourself. It does help to believe that there is that good in the world. One thing, and I do call him my donor, because long story short, but he left us, yada yada, but my donor used to always say, and I never agreed with it, and it always sat with me fucked up when he'd say it when I was a kid. He's like, because my auntie went to church, my uncles did, my grandma did when she was younger, all that kind of stuff. Like, my family was in and out of the church, but when I was growing up with him, not per se, but he was always like, God's for the weak. You only hear weak people talking about God. The only time anyone's turned to God is when they've been weak or when they've been down. And 90% of the time, that I'm not going to say that's a false accusation, because people do turn to God when they're at low points, but it's just the fact that it's somebody or an entity or something bigger than yourself that cares about you and loves you no matter what the fuck you do, no matter what your past was, because you aren't your past, you're your present, you're right now. So no matter what you've come from, no matter where you're going, it's kind of like a personal person in your corner, always rooting you on to do better in your life, to achieve more, to accomplish more. No matter if no one's got your back in the physical, no matter if no one's got your front, if no one's caring about you, you still have that one person. It's kind of like a comforting thing. So yes, lots of people in negative times do turn to that, but it's kind of a poor outlook. So I'm trying to get back on my shit. So this week's all about that. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I'm just super drained, super tired. I'm going to chill with the pups here. Jax, I'm going to go hang with him. We're going to go to bed now. It's actually 10:30. I'm going to go to bed now. I'm super drained. Much love, guys. I'll be doing these every night so I can keep you guys in tune with what's going on and just kind of reflect for myself. So much love, guys. If you're sticking around, if you're here, I appreciate it. Catch you next one. I don't know. It's just like there's too many times that I see people waiting for the right opportunity, or waiting for the right circumstance, or waiting for this or that or XYZ to fall into place before they actually take action on what they want to do. Now, if there's something that needs to fall into place, yes, I understand there could be a time where you need to wait. If that next step requires financial aid and you don't have that financial aid, well, there's no way that you can just pull money out of the air. You got to do something in order to get that financial aid or get that capital into your business or into your idea or into your dream. I get that. But there are things you can do in the meantime. Like, I have a long list of goals. I have a long list of dreams, aspirations, things I want to achieve that I know I can't achieve today, but there's steps I can take towards that. So if you want to run a marathon, we all understand that you aren't just going to go slap on some shoes and be able to run 10 kilometers no sweat. Like, that's just impossible. We all understand that. But when it comes to our goals, when it comes to our dreams, when it comes to our businesses or anything bigger than ourselves, any venture we want to do, we often think like, oh, if it's not the perfect circumstances, I'm not going to do it. And it's just going to magically fall into place one day when the timing's right. But it's never going to be right. To run that marathon, you're never going to have the ideal weather conditions. You're never going to have the street fully cleaned or the trail you're on perfectly groomed, or you're not going to feel 100%, or like nothing's ever going to line up 110% every single time. So you got to take what you can as you can and just work with it. Now, an easy way to put that is just playing the hand you're dealt well, and not complaining about the cards you're dealt. When this person's dealt a flush and this person's dealt a full house and you're dealt shit cards, you still got to play that hand the best of your ability. Now, the people that get fucked up, the people that lose this insight, the people that lose this way, are ultimately the people who just keep on that hamster wheel and keep on that hamster wheel over and over and over again, to the point that it's just exhausting. You don't really see any gains, you don't see any growth, you don't see any potential, because you're always spinning in that same spot. But back to the idea of just starting now, think of everything you want to do. There is something you could do as of right now. Like, you could, if it is to run that marathon, you could go do a little bit of stretching even to get your muscles limbered up. You could do a little bit of strength training. You could do a little bit of endurance training. You could do a little bit of breath work to strengthen your lungs. Like, there's so many things that you can do in order to get to that final goal that can ultimately make it that much more attainable, that you can do right now without, anything. There's so many times with my businesses and stuff that I'm trying to do right now that I need capital. And I also need to fund my life. And I also need to do this, that, and the other thing. And I just got in a car accident. I need to pay for my vehicle. And there's so many things that can come out that can be an excuse as to why I'm not putting that capital into there. But is that a reason for me to not get closer or not pursue these dreams and goals? No, I can sit here and plan it out like I do with all these books, everything you guys always see. I'm planning, organizing, figuring out, learning, growing. If I want to learn, let's say, because right now, one of the things I want to do is get into Airbnbs, and I really want to have, this is a little bit down the road, which I will need capital for, but I want to get into owning an Airbnb and maybe multiple ones, owning real estate. But I don't have the capital for that right now. And does that mean I'm just going to sit here and not do anything with it? No, I'm studying real estate. I'm studying how to get financing for that. I'm studying what the procedure is to go about it once the business is actually here. I'm building a business model. I'm learning everything I need to know about the ins and outs. I'm studying. I'm asking people. I'm talking to people. I'm doing things proactively, so when that time comes, when the capital is there, I'm able to pull that trigger. I could sit here and be like, oh, there's no capital, I'm not going to be able to do it. I know at some point I'll make it, so I'm able to do it. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but if I spend the whole time waiting and then I try and learn all this shit, well, I'm miles behind of where I could have been. You guys see what I'm saying? So if I was proactive, and even though I don't have the capital, I just learned, figured it out, studied, do everything I'm doing now, so that when I do have that capital, it's easy for me to pull the trigger and I'm ready to go. It's just like that, guys. It's so simple that it's not simple, if that makes sense. You got to really step back and look at the big picture to understand all of this, but once you do, it'll make a lot more sense. Trust me. I've been house sitting my parents' house, and this damn fucking deep freeze that's full of meat, every 6 hours, they haven't figured out how to program this fucking alarm, so every 6 hours this goes off. Every 6 fucking hours. And there's not even enough buttons on here to fucking figure it out. Like, you hit everything and nothing happens, so I can't even figure it out. So, but they just live like that. That's fucking crazy. How do you live where this goes off every 6 fucking hours? Like, I've been here a week and it's annoying the fuck out of me. Today's my second last night and I'm just counting down the hours till I don't have to fucking come down here and shut this out. Like, it's just... That's it, but you gotta do it every 6 hours. Shot, but I'm thinking that there would be a chance, because I've always wanted to play professional sports. I've always wanted to be some sort of an athlete on some level. But it's never really come to fruition as life just, changed the course of my journey all through since I was a kid. All I did was play sports. All I did was every day after school, every day at recess, every day at lunch break, I'd be either playing just with my buddies or on a, actual sports team. Um, Football, basketball, track and field, those were the main three that I kind of stuck to. But as I got older, honestly, as a kid, I thought golf was lame as fuck. I thought a lot of it was lame. But the older I get, I really like it and I start enjoying it more and more and more. Now I understand the game and I understand the methods behind it and the thought process and the skill that actually goes into it. And now that I'm getting older and it's a sport that I can actually still play until I'm old, like there's old men who would play that game, that sport, and at a high level. So to think that I'm enjoying it more now and like I'm getting into it and think that like there's a chance. I mean, 30 years old going into trying to be a professional athlete, probably not like the easiest route, especially when I'm just starting golf last year. But where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm gonna give myself about 3 years of actually dedicating myself to it and see if I can make a run at it. And if I actually gain some traction, if I actually gain some ground, maybe I'll keep pursuing it. Because listen to this, there's that new Live Golf thing, that new Live Golf brand, tournament, company, whatever you want to call it. There's the PGA Tour, and then there's Live Golf. Anyways, when they go on tour, there's 48 people who are on the tour, and if you rank 48th place out of everyone, so you're dead last, you are still clearing over 120K for that event. You're still clearing that. Now, to get into this live event is probably going to be some hurdles and some events and shit you have to win along the way, but there's also prizes and money and shit that comes with that too. So, if I can at least get up to being on a live tournament, I'm guaranteed to have money and shit from it beforehand. I don't know how much, but like obviously if you're winning tournaments and eligible to get in there, you're probably doing fairly well outside of it, even in minor tournaments. So if I can do something there and then get into that, even if I can last like a couple, like even 2 seasons, like yeah, I don't know if it's 120K per season or if it's like 120K per event, but I'm pretty sure it's like the season. Actually, I don't really know because like the season seems a little much, and a round seems a little like, or the round like tournament seems a little much to get that much, but a whole season seems a little low. But I don't know. Even if it's the whole season and you play what 10 events, that's 10 weekends out of your life for getting 120K. I would do that. And it's like the bottom four get kicked out, and then four more come back in. So there's always a chance for a few to get in and a few to get out. So you're not always on the chopping block, but there's still room for new people to come in. So there's definitely opportunity there. There's definitely a chance. And even if I made one, I could die knowing I was a professional athlete. That's sick. So that's a goal I might pursue. It's on the radar. I love golf now, so who knows? It might be a thing. It might be a thing.